If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in a Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft. Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed, and shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener, yes, dear listener, yes, dear listener. We are in the
Devin
midst.
Townsend project, I suppose, is how you pronounce it. This is for River. What's up, Riv?
Riv in this bitch.
Aya is a late addition because I'd like to share a happy moment with everyone. On Sunday, February 25th, my girlfriend became my fiance. We're a very non-traditional couple, and I was planning on proposing sometime this year as well.
Gang.
So the decision was easy. This song has been on my playlist since, and I can't help but be in a better mood than I've been in. Okay, let's check it out. Devin Townsend up in this bitch. Let's check it out.
Hey, shout out to the big homie. Riv in this bitch. Go ahead, Riv. Go ahead, Riv. All right,
That's
guys.
awesome, Wolves in the Mist.
Hey, you're
That's
medically...
great.
Yeah, Wolves in the Mist got medically cleared to start racing again. It's over with. He's about to win like 50 million of these things. He's about to win the Daytona 500, all that shit. Let's go.
Oh, is that kind of racing he does?
What does it take to do a DJ stream? I don't know. See, so we might be able to work something out on the back end, huh? Text me.
All right, let's check it out. You have the lyrics?
Yes. Condolences. Oops, I meant congrats. That was for you, Riv. Shout out to hell. Oh my God. Oh my goodness gracious. All right, guys, here we go. Song number 3 is from a band, from a fella by the name of Jordan Peterson. Devin Townsend. Let's do it. Long live Mexico.
As everything in life comes together now, I need your mind, and everything is light. I remember now, I see you rise, and all the lonely things seem to wanna change. I'll sleep on it tonight.
was amazing. Shout out to Riv, and shout out to Riv's fiance, man. Uh, that's a I don't know if the guilty pleasure is the term people use, but it's one of the things I love doing is watching these shows where these people meet each other and the whole process of them falling in love. I love falling in love and all this shit.
I love it too.
A lot of times, like, people don't make it, because relationships are tough, man. They're really, really hard. But I love watching those. I love watching those moments because it's just there's something very whimsical to me of people who are strangers, who have no reason to be. Friendships are like this for me too. I'm very fascinated by friendships as well. But like, you got two human beings who didn't know each other at all, get in each other's space, and then it metastasizes into this incredible thing. And yeah. A lot of those couples don't make it off that show, but a lot of couples don't make it, period. You know what I'm saying? Like, relationships are hard to prosecute regardless. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I just love seeing it, man. It's probably one of those things where it's like people would never ever guess that like that's a big thing of mine. But yeah, that's a real big thing of mine. Like, I love that whole process. Like, I like to be but I just like seeing like that whole like the evolution and then like looking at it and seeing how it goes and then it's cool because you get to see them in conflicts and stuff but they're not real conflicts in my opinion because it's a reality show and the producers are orchestrating situations to create conflicts like here's your ex-girlfriend from Facebook or high school or whatever Mm-hmm. Emily and this bitch, haven't seen you here in a long time. So, like, there's not a lot of lyrics. Mm-hmm. And the lyrics are not mega complex.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between being deep and complex, right? Mm-hmm. Like, that's not the same thing. Mm-hmm. Right? So, although it wasn't complex, I did think it was deep. Because Jonathan Preju asked a question. I don't even know if it's probably Prajo or Prago. But he asked the question, he said, what is the world made up of? Because he said, if you abandon materialism, if you abandon physicalism, which, our children, they're going to be looking back at us and laughing and mocking us for being physicalists in the same way that people mock flat earthers. Like, I'm not even kidding. Uh-huh. But the question then becomes, okay, so if the physicalist stuff is not true, and if matter is a projection, it matters a haptic projection. Then what is the world actually made up of then? And of course, Schopenhauer, his answer was that the world was constituted of will and intention. Right? So remember that whole conversation we had?
Yeah.
And I would say that will and intention are penultimate, but they're not the ultimate thing that the universe is made up of. And one of the things that's really interesting to me is I'm pretty sure that inside of all the quantum physics, time travel calculations of the movie Interstellar, the ultimate message of Interstellar was that love was the strongest principle in the universe. Mm. And so, if you abandon physicalism and materialism, good, you're in line with modern science. But then you have to say, okay, well, what are we going to replace physicalism with? What does the world, or what we call the world, what is it actually constituted of? What are these physical things manifestations of? You say, okay, the physical local realism, that shit is not here. What is the world actually then? And I think we're going to spend the next probably 100 years in the Western world secularly trying to figure it out. When we know the answer is that the world is made up of love, man. And that's the reason why love is the most powerful and dangerous tool that has been deployed for and against human beings in the history of the world. Mm-hmm. You could say, well, what are you talking about? Look at 9/11. 9/11 was definitely an act of love. The people that allowed 9/11 to happen love war. They love the money that you can get from war. and they love the power that you can accumulate from a war. People that crash the planes into that building love their religion, and they love their country and the people that are, in their minds, being oppressed. So even in horrible things like 9/11 or a Holocaust, love is the ultimate principle that is driving that action. But again, people just take the term love and they go, oh, love always has to be good. No, you can love your race to the expense of other people, which is what we saw in the Holocaust, right? Like people who are great neighbors to you, wonderful people, your love for your own mirror image then got metastasized into hatred for people that were a little bit different than you. And so the ultimate, I'd say the most powerful force and the most ubiquitous force in the universe is love. So when you look at the lyrics here, the yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
Like I said, I want to know what the actual technical term for that methodology is. I still don't have it. But in this particular situation, it's amazing to see because it communicates something, which is to say, we use vocalization because we are trying to put pictures in your head of this invisible, quote, feeling I have. Like a feeling is invisible. If I say I'm sad, that is not a physical reality. That is an emotional state of being. What I do with my face to communicate that I'm sad, you're picking up on that, but that's not the sadness in itself. And so everything that we see here is a manifestation of some deeper reality, but it is not the reality in and of itself. And so when he's talking about love and how he loves Shorty and all this, and he starts going la-di-da or whatever the hell, like that's important because it's saying there are limits. There are limits to the words or the metaphorical pictures that I can put into my head to communicate to you what's actually in here. So it looks really simple and basic and all that, and maybe a little like elementary schoolish, maybe, but it was deep. It was simple, but it was deep. You know, you can go to a water park that's got like this giant, like, you know, all these crazy intricate, you know, slides or whatever, and it's only like 1 foot of water. Then you can go, to, you know, a person's backyard and there's like 8 foot of water in their 8 foot pool. Their 8 foot pool is a lot more simplistic than the crazy thing at the amusement park, but your 8 foot pool is deeper than the 1 feet. That one's more complex. That one's deeper. That one you have more fun in. This one you could drown in. Like there's one that carries a lot more consequence than the other. And that's how I classify this song. This song is a 8 foot deep pool in your backyard. Very simple, nothing to really look at, but you can drown in it. So that's where I'm at with it.
I liked the beginning too. He says, as everything in life comes together now, I need your mind. And everything is light. I remember now, I see you rise. And all the lonely things seem to want to change. I'll sleep on it tonight. I like that line. I liked that whole thing. Because I think that there's, at the beginning of relationships, like there is all of that, like everything seems like perfect. It seems like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Then he's saying like, and all the lonely things seem to want to change. Like even that like seems to want, like, characterizing the lonely things as having a will to want to change, because sometimes in loneliness it just feels like it's a state, not that it's like active, but it's just something that you feel that kind of like is there. But when he characterized it that way, I liked that because it seems like springtime when everything is coming to life. That to me was when love came together for him, and it was bringing him into this feeling like it was changing those lonely aspects of his life. But then he says, I'll sleep on it tonight. And I don't know if that just means he's going to rest knowing he has that love or what.
Well, I think it's like the lonely things seem to want to change. Like it looks to me, it's like that moment when you're like, yo, am I really going to get into this relationship? Aren't we tired of being alone? But then it's also that fear of like, yeah, but what if it doesn't work out? Yada, yada, yada. So it looks like he's saying, I'll sleep on it tonight. That's at the beginning of the song. That's in the first stanza. By the time you get to the bottom of the stanza, it looks like he's made his decision and he really loves Shorty. He's like, screw it, I'll just take a risk and whatever happens, happens. And sometimes, man, like, a lot of life is about trade-offs. And one of the biggest lessons that folks have to learn in relationships is that you cannot have total security and wild, passionate love at the same time. You have to choose. If you want total security, then don't put your feelings out there. Right? And if you want to feel all that fairy tale shit, then put your feelings in there. You just have to understand that there are risks. And, you know, how all of us balance that shit out, I have no idea. You know, some of us are on the safety, you know, more biased toward safety. Others are more biased toward risk. But you cannot have both. And so, like, you
So
gotta,
true.
and you know, none of those answers is easy, man, because I've seen the people who, quote, settle, and then they hit a certain age and it's a fucking disaster. You see what I'm saying? And so it's like, you know, I don't know. You know, love is meant to be experienced. Your heart is meant to love, you know, for most of us anyway. But I think as a Christian, there are a couple things where I say, okay, we have an unfair advantage. And I think Christianity kind of sets you up for having a shot at a lasting relationship. Because on the one hand, it says that your partner is the perfect one for you, what God has put together, right? But on the other hand, it also says that this perfect person for you is not a perfect person in total. And so there should be a simultaneous experience of, oh my God, this is my person, as well as nobody can fuck with me to the degree that this person does. And if you cannot live in that tension, and if you cannot deal with that risk, then I don't think you're a terrible person. I don't think you're a coward. It makes a lot of sense. You just have to realize that, okay, that's a choice. That means that there are certain experiences with love that you're not going to have because you're guarding that. So, and that's not a warning. It's not a whatever. It's just, that's reality. It's just how it is. Like, I think in the Western world, we want to have our cake and eat it too. We want the wild, passionate Romeo and Juliet shit, but we don't want to look at the last scene in the play. They died. And I'm not against romanticism. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you want to go full bore romantic in your relationship philosophy, cool. You just have to understand then that those things are extremely volatile, and they very rarely have sticking power. On the other side, if you go completely for security, those things generally don't have sticking power when you get to middle age. So that's why when Jesus got done talking about marriage, the apostle says, well, shit, if it's like this, man, let's just forget it. And Jesus said, yeah, I mean, it's a good idea if you could handle it. You guys aren't strong enough to handle it, though. Let he who can receive it, receive it. That was Jesus's nice, polite way of saying, y'all too soft. I'm going to have to hook you up with a girl because you're not going to be able to do that shit. Shout out to Jesus of Nazareth.
No prisoners.
No prisoners with that man. Man, I'm going to give this a 10 because I just got the greatest news in the world. Shout out to Riv. You know, Riv has been like one of my best friends on the channel. One of the guys that constantly, like, we have disagreements about, but it's really an unconditional relationship. And I don't have a lot of those on the internet. But there's never been a time when Riv has been like, you know what? And everybody knows me, like, I can be a bit much. So whoever is the fiance of Riv, please take care of him. Because he's got to deal with me a lot. So be nice. Be nice.
Riv's our buddy.
Yeah. I was like, you never. Hey. We also live in a throwaway society, and moving on to the next is as easy as swiping right. Yeah, man. It actually, like, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like, that whole swipe, that's Tinder, right? That's Tinder. Like, you have people, and then you, like, if you swipe left, that means you don't want them. Like, they disappear. And I think if you swipe right, then you get their number or something like that. You know, like eHarmony, it's like a dating site only.
Yeah, I don't know I would never.
Yeah, we missed that because we were too busy, like, you know, planning churches and shit, and like trying to atone for the sins that we've committed all across the planet. But Raina will always be like, please to me, y'all. I don't know. Yeah. So like, but I do think though, like, the idea that you can like swipe somebody, that you can like assess somebody, and then they don't hit your whatever, and you can just go. I do think, even though this.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
that thing. Yeah.
I was listening to this thing about the Amish, and the guy was talking about why Amish people don't have cars, and because they're not against all technology, they're very, very purposeful. There's some technology they use, some technology they don't. When cars came around, they had a big discussion about it. They said, let's wait and see. And they waited and saw, and then sure enough, what they saw was that people, instead of relying on their neighbors, started going, you know, to the store. So like back in the day, prior to cars, if it was horse and buggy, and you were out of sugar and you wanted to bake those cookies, you had to go across the street and ask Miss Johnson for her sugar. And she was going to give it to you because when she ran out of eggs the day before, she went over to your place. And the Amish are saying, if we go to these cars, you're not going to do that the next time you want sugar.
You're right.
So the Amish had a very interesting way of looking at how technology had an effect on society as a whole. And so I wonder, in this current age, where a person can say, this is who I am, this is what I look like, this is what I'm interested, this is my soul, I'm looking for a partner somehow, looking for love somehow. We can go, yep, but you're not. Yeah. And we can kind of, and I don't think you're a morally bad person for doing that, but I'm saying, like, psychologically,
yeah,
like, if we get used to doing this and we just see people as like, oh, you're just a bigger sized version of this thing that I met in the screen, because you initially meet these people in this little screen, and then that gets like manifested out in the physical world, and here they are with not only their imperfections or whatever, but it's just they're now you're dealing with a real human being, and before you're able to just. So why not just keep doing that with people? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm not sure, man. Like, I'm not sure. But I'm always gonna root for that. Song and album are 10, but because of all Devin's music got me as far as I am now. Yeah, I'm gonna give this one a 10 just because, like, it's love, man. You know what I'm saying? It's love, and like Jesus said, it's not for everybody, but I'm very happy to see my folks with people and to know that they're not alone. Mm-hmm. I love that shit. I love that shit. And you know, if you're in a situation where that's not happened for you yet, I would say don't despair. And I would also say, you know, we're not much improvements, but we're around. Okay. It's a 10 for me.
It's a 9 for me.
All right, guys, we got a commercial break. We're coming right back on the other side. It looks like we're streaming at 1080 on 3 platforms right now. We're looking pretty good. Did have a little bit of turbulence about 11 minutes ago, but it looks like we're doing really, really good. Commercial break.
We'll be right back.
We shall return. Love is lit. That's Delaney. You already know what the deal is. Let's go.